as her best friend Winnie had described him. She had been right. With his black as sin hair and gray eyes, he looked like he belonged between the pages of a historical romance, staring as an evil pirate or maybe an unrepentant rake. "Lennox," she said, cringing because she knew her raspy voice gave her away.
"You are aware the dining hall has a dress code?"
She waited for him to smile and tell her it was a joke, that of course he wasn't going to enforce the dress code when there were only 4 people on the island. But the smile didn't come, and neither did the ha, I'm just joking follow-up. "What?" she finally asked.
"The dress code," he snapped. "You're in violation of it."
"Oh my God, you're serious."
"We have rules and regulations for a reason."
"Right, but since there are only 4 of us here," she trailed off, assuming her intent would be clear.
"You thought you didn't have to follow the rules."
She couldn't believe he was being such a dick over something so stupid. "Yes," she said, just to goad him. "That's it exactly. I figured since there were only 4 of us, you wouldn't care if I wore a leotard and tights into the dining room. I mean, seriously, who do you think it will bother? Not Fulton or Andy. And you typically don't give me the time of day. I could probably sit on your desk, buck naked, and you wouldn't lift an eyebrow."
"I would have thought by now you'd be well acquainted with the expectations I have of my employees."
He knew just what to say to shut her down. There was little else he could have said that would cut as deeply as the unnecessary reminder that all she was to him was an employee. "It's my fault, Master MacLure," Andy said, appearing with a tray in her hands. "She wanted to get cleaned up, and I told her it didn't matter since there are only 4 of us here." Mariela stood up. "No, it was my fault. I knew better." She turned and walked out, not waiting for either of them to say anything. Lennox watched Marie walk away with a lump in his throat the entire time. Yes, he was an ass. He shouldn't have reprimanded her for her casual attire, but hell, what was a man to do? She'd walked into the dining area in that dance outfit like it was nothing at all. How could she not know what the sight of those skin-tight clothes would do to him? Hell, why did she think there was a rule that only street clothes could be worn in the dining hall? Technically, the rule stated no fetish wear was allowed, but that outfit she had on could in no way be considered street clothing. Even though she'd left the room, he could still picture her perfectly. She was petite, and he liked that about her, liked that she was small and dainty compared to him. Fuck, what it did to the dominant inside him to imagine her tiny body beneath him. How it would feel to take possession of her. He clenched his fists as the image of her swam before his eyes. The outfit had left nothing to his imagination, and even though he'd seen her naked before, to see her in dance attire like she'd worn today did nothing but mock him. He pictured it all too clearly. Her lithe body, made strong by her dance routines, the muscles of her legs. How would they feel wrapped around him? His fingers itched to run over them, to feel their strength. No, more than that, to master her strength. For he knew the rush that came with taking control of a submissive was only multiplied when her submission was coupled with a strength she had willingly laid aside. And he had no doubt that as small as she was in stature, Marie was a powerhouse. To be given her submission would mean to be gifted with the sweetest of all gifts. Yet even though he knew how amazing it would be, he could not allow himself to take it. He knew she would give it to him. He'd known for a long time that he need only look at her, and she'd be on her knees. But it was an offering he could not accept. He no longer allowed himself to indulge in his dominant nature, ever. In fact, he'd buried it so deep within him and for so long, he wasn't sure he could revive that part of him. What he did know was that he could not take the chance of finding out. The last time he'd freed that need within him, the results had been fatal. He could not take that risk again, especially with Marie. If the end result was she thought him a cold-hearted bastard, so be it. He could live with her scorn. What he could not live with was the responsibility for another woman's death. "I feel as though I should apologize again, sir," Andy said, and he realized he'd been staring at the empty place Marie had been sitting for several seconds. "But I'm not exactly sure what for."
"Has Andy been causing trouble again?"
her dom and one of his master professors asked, coming up behind her.
"Do I need to take her over my knee?"